Hey guys, it's Logan here with Hydra 572. Over the years, Cold Steel has produced a couple of series of videos called the proof videos, where they've used, abused, and otherwise tested their blades. I've always found these videos to be fascinating, to the point that I'd actually like to recreate some of those tests for you today. To that end, I have a Cold Steel Voyager XL Tonto. Some of the tests that I'll be doing today are lifted directly from those Cold Steel videos. Others I've invented myself, or more likely stolen from somebody else here on YouTube. This baby is still wearing the factory edge with a little bit of wear on it from just doing some light paper cutting tests, but it is still the factory edge geometry, so it'll be perfect for our testing here today. Without further ado, I'll get started on our testing. This is just some magazine paper, very difficult to slice cleanly. As you can see, Cold Steel's factory edge very sharp, having no problem with the thin magazine paper. Alright, let's move on to something that everybody has a little bit of experience with. This is just standard printer paper, a little bit easier to cut and slice cleanly. And the Cold Steel stock edge, making short work. Now I'll go ahead and move on. This is some leather. Cold Steel tested on motorcycle leather, but if you want a difficult project for yourself, go out and try to find some motorcycle leather that you can just buy that isn't a part of a jacket or something. It's damn near impossible. I'm going to try to do some slicing on it, and it probably won't work, but we'll see. Also, there will be minimal editing on this video, so everything that you guys see is up front and very realistic. We'll be using the one knife, we won't be switching it out at all, so you'll get to see how the factory edge wears. Now you guys will see me do some slicing. And I'll double it up and do a cut through. This stuff a little bit, actually quite a bit more difficult to cut than the paper. This is just a craft leather that we picked up at a Michael's nearby after giving up on the motorcycle leather project. And as you can see, when I'm holding it correctly, cutting very well. Moving on. Here we have some cardboard, just standard corrugated cardboard, and I'll do some cutting. As you guys can see, just ripping through that cardboard. We're going to be doing quite a bit of cardboard testing here because this will be a large part of the wear that we are putting on the blade to see how it holds up for a little bit of more difficult testing to come. So if you guys will be patient, I will shred through one more sheet real quick. As you guys can see, this is a really effortless cut, especially for such a wide stock blade. It's cutting very, very well. I would expect much more resistance. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and clamp a sheet of cardboard in so that we can do some slashing type testing. Alright, I've got my sheet of cardboard clamped in, and it's important to point out at this juncture that the guys you see in the Cold Steel demonstrations are very well trained with edged weapons. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those guys' resume, but we're talking about world champions in edged weapon fighting. We're talking about people that train for a living with their weapons, whereas I'm just a guy that likes to play with my knives. So what you're seeing here is much more of a representation of what a layman can do with the Cold Steel XL Voyager right out of the box. That said, I'll go ahead and do a couple of slashes here. I made it disappear. And it's back. Alright, this one's going to be fun. I've always wanted to chop a tennis ball, so we're going to give it a shot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not. Either way, it's going to be funny. So, going for it again. I think I can stab it.
We shall see. He killed it.
Guys, that might be my favorite thing that's ever happened on camera. We have a couple more slashing tests before we get into the real penetration tests. As you guys saw, that was kind of impromptu. Water bottle testing is very popular on YouTube. Sharp blades should be able to get through water bottles. But as I've said, I'm not really skilled at stuff like this, so I might screw it up. But we'll see. I'm throwing water at my camera right now. I don't know how I feel about that. As I said, I might screw it up. I sprayed water on myself. Alright, I barely made it through one, so naturally we're going to go for two. There you go. Alright, here we have some 3/4 inch manila rope. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can slash through it. It's actually really easy. As you guys saw, we went through one strand with ease, so we're going to try for two. Again, pretty easy. Alright, might as well go for three. Like I said, minimal editing, so when I screw up, you're going to know about it. Alright guys, I still feel like I haven't put all that much wear on the edge, so we're going to go ahead and do a little bit more cutting, starting with the rope.
It's going to be so messy to clean up.
Due to the Tonto blade shape, it's really difficult to do any slicing with anything other than the sub point, which is a little bit inefficient, but you guys are seeing some. And of course we can do this. Maybe not. Alright, that's enough of that. Still have some leather over here. You guys can see we are able to do some slicing with the sub point. So, yeah, let's go ahead and head into penetration tests. Alright guys, here I have what I'm going to offhandedly refer to as a fair amount of craft leather, and I'm going to go ahead and stab through it.
And miss.
Yeah, I kind of got the corner there. Let's go again.
Should you be wearing a glove?
Probably. So yeah, I'm stabbing into the wood, so we'll go ahead and count a couple of those stabs as some stabs into wood. We'll go one more time into leather.
If you can't tell, it's gone all the way through.
It did go. The wood stopped it. Alright, let's do some cardboard. Alright, let's go for cardboard and leather. I can do better than that. Alright guys, here we have a packaging tube. Now this one is not as thick as the one they tested on the cold steel video, I'll admit that. we drove all around town looking for a thick packaging tube, and this is the best we could do. So I'll do a penetration test on it. I'm gonna miss the first one, so we're all clear. Alright, I know I made it disappear. I'm trying to keep my magic under control, but as you can see, I did penetrate on both sides. There's that hole, and there's that hole. So, I'm going to try to slash it, I think, which isn't going to work at all. Here we go.
Reminds me of my arm a little bit.
So as it turns out, nobody, including me, owns a phone book anymore, so I got the next best thing. This is 6 issues of Game Informer, so a couple of thousand sheets of magazine paper. I'll go ahead and see if I can penetrate through that. My hand is getting pretty sore, as I said, untrained, and I didn't feel like going to get a glove, but we'll see how I can do. The pointless bitching part is over now. I don't think I'm going to do better than that, but one more time. 3 again. Into the 4th. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the testing that I can think to do on this blade. We've done quite a bit of cutting, cardboard, rope, no real wear done on the paper tests, but there you go. So, I guess the only thing left to do is... Actually, there is still one test I can think to do that's going to make a huge mess, so let's do it. Guys, that is way too easy. I know the cuts aren't clean, but we're talking about hundreds of sheets of paper. Well, for what it's doing, that was just effortless. That was awesome. I'm just making a mess at this point. We'll go ahead and test the sharpness one more time. It is just now reaching the lower side of sharp enough to slice this magazine paper. As you guys can see, the cuts were less fine now than they were before, but it is still cutting very well. Maybe demonstrate that on some wet printer paper here. So yeah, I don't feel the need to replicate any of the durability tests in terms of the lock strength or stabbing through the car hood, anything like that, because I don't think there's any way that Cold Steel could have fabricated that. But as far as how well this thing can cut in the hands of a novice when it comes to cutting, how well it holds its edge, I think it's tested really well. The tip is not particularly fine anymore, though it really wasn't to begin with. The subpoint especially, and the inch or so portion beneath it, has taken quite a bit of wear, which is to be expected when you're trying to do slice cutting with this blade profile. And the body took some wear too, but ultimately it's still cutting very well. It's definitely still at a utility edge level. Most people would not tell you that this knife is dull. Us knife aficionados know a little bit different, but to the layman, this is still a very sharp knife, definitely a dangerously sharp knife that you can still use to defend yourself with. So overall, emphatically passing our testing, the Cold Steel Voyager Tonto XL. This is Hydra 572. This has been consumer proof. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more of the same.